Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to acknowledge and celebrate a profound truth, a truth that resonates through the ages and speaks to the very core of who we are. You are God's chosen ones. You have not just survived, you have overcome. You've passed the test, Divine B. To be chosen is not a matter of chance or favoritism. It is a calling, an affirmation of your worth, your resilience, and your alignment with a higher purpose. This divine selection does not exempt you from challenges, rather it immerses you in them, for the chosen are not crowned without trials. Think of the challenges you have faced, the moments that tested your faith, your resolve, your very spirit. These were not punishments, but gifts cloaked in adversity. They were invitations to rise above, to shed the old, and to step into the fullness of who you were meant to be. The fire may have been fierce, but it has refined you, not consumed you. To be chosen by God is a profound and transformative experience, one that surpasses human understanding and logic. It is not an arbitrary act or a reflection of merit as measured by worldly standards. Instead, it is a divine calling rooted in purpose, grace, and spiritual alignment. To grasp the essence of divine selection, one must first understand that God's choosing is an act of love and intentionality. It is an invitation into a deeper relationship with the Creator, a call to step into a life of purpose, and a recognition of the unique potential within each individual to fulfill a divine plan. When God chooses, it is not because of perfection or unblemished character. In fact, those whom God selects are often deeply flawed, burdened by struggles, and acutely aware of their inadequacies. This paradox underscores a vital truth: divine selection is not about human strength or ability, but about God's power working through human weakness. It is in our imperfections that God's glory shines brightest, for the chosen are not expected to rely on their own capacities, but to trust in the limitless strength of the one who has called them. The act of being chosen transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, not by human effort, but by divine grace. The nature of being chosen is both comforting and challenging. It is comforting because it assures us that God sees beyond our limitations and failures. He sees the potential within us, the seeds of greatness He has sown, and the unique purpose we are destined to fulfill. It is challenging because being chosen often requires a journey of transformation, a path that involves trials, testing, and refining. God does not call the prepared, He prepares the called. The journey of the chosen is not an easy one, but it is necessary for growth and alignment with God's will. To be chosen by God is to be set apart for a divine purpose. This separation is not about exclusion, but about consecration. It is an invitation to rise above the ordinary and step into a life that reflects God's love, wisdom, and power. This calling requires a willingness to let go of personal desires, ambitions, and comforts to embrace a higher purpose. The chosen are called to be vessels of God's light, carriers of His message, and instruments of His peace in a world that often feels dark and chaotic. This calling is not for personal gain or glory, but for the fulfillment of a divine mission that transcends individual aspirations. The process of being chosen often begins with a stirring in the soul, a sense of restlessness, or a feeling that there is more to life than what meets the eye. This inner prompting is the Spirit's way of awakening us to our divine calling. It is an invitation to step out of the familiar and venture into the unknown, trusting that God's plan is greater than anything we could imagine. This initial awakening is followed by a period of preparation, during which God refines and equips His chosen ones for their mission. The preparation process is often marked by trials and challenges. These are not punishments, but tools for growth. Through adversity, God shapes our character, strengthens our faith, and teaches us to rely on Him completely. The trials of the chosen are not meant to break them, but to build them into the people they were created to be. It is through these experiences that the chosen come to understand the depth of God's love and the power of His grace. They learn to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow closer to God and to fulfill their purpose. Being chosen also comes with a responsibility to live in alignment with God's will. This requires a deep sense of humility and a willingness to submit to God's guidance. The chosen are called to be examples of faith, hope, and love in a world that desperately needs these virtues. They are tasked with carrying out God's work, not through their own strength, but through His power working within them. This responsibility is both a privilege and a challenge, for it requires a daily commitment to walk in obedience and to trust in God's plan. Ultimately, to be chosen by God is to embark on a journey of transformation and purpose. It is an invitation to step into the fullness of who we were created to be and to participate in God's work of redemption and restoration. The chosen are not defined by their past or their shortcomings, but by their willingness to say yes to God's call. They are ordinary people called to extraordinary purposes, empowered by the Creator of the universe to bring light, love, and hope to a world in need. To be chosen is to be seen, known, and loved by God, and to be entrusted with the sacred task of carrying His light into the world. Tests are an integral part of the human experience, and when seen through the lens of faith, they are far more than mere challenges or obstacles. They serve as gateways to transformation, portals through which individuals are refined, strengthened, and prepared for greater purpose. In the divine narrative, tests are not punishments but purposeful experiences designed to elevate the soul, sharpen character, and align one's life with higher truths. They are the spiritual workshops where growth occurs, resilience is forged, and deeper faith is cultivated. The first realization about tests is their inevitability. No life escapes them. They come in various forms: disappointments, losses, conflicts, uncertainties, and they often arrive unannounced, disrupting comfort and familiarity. While they may seem unfair or overwhelming in the moment, they hold a deeper significance. Every test carries within it the seed of transformation, a divine opportunity to rise above circumstances and discover untapped potential. To view tests as gateways is to recognize that they are not meant to destroy but to build, not to weaken but to empower. Tests reveal the true nature of our faith and character. It is easy to proclaim belief when life flows smoothly, but the authenticity of one's convictions is revealed when the path becomes treacherous. Tests strip away superficiality and compel us to confront the core of who we are. In those moments, we see our vulnerabilities and strengths, our fears and courage. This self-awareness is crucial, for transformation begins with understanding. A test, then, is not just a challenge, it is a mirror reflecting the depths of our soul. In the divine context, tests are designed to purify and refine. Just as fire purges impurities from gold, trials purify the spirit, removing doubts, fears, and weaknesses that hinder spiritual growth. They compel us to let go of what no longer serves us, old habits, limiting beliefs, and attachments to the material, and to embrace the strength, wisdom, and clarity that lie within. This refining process is not instantaneous, it is gradual and often uncomfortable. Yet, through perseverance, we emerge transformed, more aligned with the person we were created to be. Tests also teach reliance on something greater than ourselves. In the midst of trials, when human strength falters and solutions seem distant, we are reminded of our dependence on divine guidance. These moments invite us to surrender not in defeat, but in trust. Surrendering to the process allows us to access a higher power, one that carries us through challenges and equips us with the grace to endure. In this surrender, we find peace and strength that transcend understanding. The transformative power of tests lies not just in enduring them, but in the lessons they impart. Every test carries wisdom, but to glean it requires openness and reflection. Tests teach patience, reminding us that growth takes time. They teach humility, showing us the limits of our control and the value of leaning on others and God. They teach resilience, proving that setbacks are not endings but opportunities to rise stronger. Each lesson learned through testing becomes a tool, a building block for the future. Another profound aspect of tests is their ability to shift our perspective. They force us to see beyond the immediate and to consider the bigger picture. What seems like a setback may, in hindsight, be a setup for something greater. The struggle that felt insurmountable may turn out to be the very thing that prepared us for a breakthrough. This shift in perspective fosters gratitude, even for difficulties, because we begin to see them as integral to our journey. Tests are not isolated events, they are interconnected with the unfolding of our purpose. They prepare us for the roles we are meant to play and the impact we are destined to have. Consider a tree, its roots grow deepest during storms. Similarly, our capacity to fulfill our purpose expands through the trials we face. Without the testing, there can be no refining, and without refining, we are ill-prepared for the blessings and responsibilities that await. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of tests is their power to transform not just the individual, but also those around them. A person who has endured and grown through trials becomes a source of inspiration, a testament to resilience and faith. Their story becomes a light for others, a beacon that says, if I overcame, so can you. In this way, tests ripple outward, touching lives beyond the one who experienced them. Ultimately, tests are sacred encounters with growth and transformation. They challenge us, stretch us, and sometimes bring us to our knees, but they also elevate us to heights we never imagined. They are reminders that we are not static beings, but ever-evolving creations, capable of extraordinary resilience and grace. To embrace tests as gateways to transformation is to step into the fullness of life's journey, trusting that every challenge is a chapter in the greater story, a story of purpose, growth, and divine alignment. The promise of blessings is a central theme in the spiritual journey, a beacon of hope that shines through life's challenges and trials. It is a divine assurance that beyond the struggles, beyond the tears, and beyond the waiting lies a reward uniquely tailored to our needs, desires, and purpose. This promise is not merely about material gain or fleeting satisfaction. It is a profound declaration of God's unwavering love, faithfulness, and intentionality in our lives. To truly grasp the depth of this promise, we must first understand its nature and the context in which it is given. Blessings are often misunderstood as mere rewards for good behavior or acts of piety. While obedience and faithfulness align us with divine principles, blessings are not transactional. They are expressions of God's grace, unearned, undeserved, and limitless. The promise of blessings is rooted in God's character as a giver, one who delights in seeing His creation flourish. He does not bless out of obligation, but out of love, knowing what we need even before we ask. This assurance removes the pressure of striving to earn blessings and invites us into a posture of trust and surrender. One of the most profound aspects of the promise of blessings is its timing. God's blessings are always perfectly timed, even when they seem delayed from our perspective. It is human nature to grow impatient, to want answers and rewards immediately. But divine timing operates on a higher plane. God sees the entirety of our lives, the past, present, and future, and orchestrates blessings to arrive at the moment they will have the greatest impact. This divine timing often aligns with seasons of readiness, when we have been prepared through trials and growth to receive and steward the blessings responsibly. The promise of blessings is often revealed during seasons of testing and waiting. It is in these moments, when circumstances seem bleak or progress feels stalled, that the promise becomes a source of hope and endurance. God's promises are not empty words, they are declarations of certainty, anchored in His unchanging nature. To hold on to the promise of blessings is to declare faith in the unseen, trusting that what God has spoken will come to pass, even when evidence suggests otherwise. This unwavering faith is the foundation upon which the promise of blessings rests. Blessings come in many forms, often transcending material or tangible rewards. They may manifest as peace in the midst of chaos, strength to endure trials, or wisdom to navigate life's complexities. Relationships, opportunities, spiritual growth, and even moments of joy can all be expressions of divine blessings. To fully appreciate the promise, we must expand our understanding of what blessings entail. They are not limited to what we ask for, but encompass what we need, sometimes in ways we could never have anticipated. God's blessings often exceed our expectations, reflecting His abundant generosity. The promise of blessings is also deeply intertwined with purpose. God's blessings are not arbitrary, they are intentional and aligned with the unique calling He has placed on each life. When blessings come, they serve a dual purpose. They enrich our lives and equip us to fulfill our purpose. Whether it is a talent, resource, opportunity, or relationship, every blessing carries with it a responsibility to use it for good. This stewardship transforms blessings into channels through which God's love, grace, and power flow into the lives of others. A critical aspect of the promise of blessings is the role of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a response to blessings received, it is a mindset that prepares us to recognize and fully embrace them. When we cultivate a heart of gratitude, we become attuned to the countless ways God is already working in our lives. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, opening our eyes to blessings that might otherwise go unnoticed. This posture of thankfulness creates an environment where blessings can multiply, as a grateful heart is fertile ground for God's goodness to flourish. Living in the promise of blessings also requires faith in action. Faith is not passive, it is an active expression of trust in God's promises. This means preparing for blessings even before they arrive, stepping forward in obedience and expectation. Just as a farmer prepares the soil in anticipation of rain, we too must align our actions with the belief that blessings are on the way. This preparation is an act of faith that demonstrates our readiness to receive and steward what God has in store. The ultimate fulfillment of the promise of blessings is not found in the blessings themselves, but in the relationship with the one who gives them. Each blessing is a reminder of God's presence, care, and faithfulness. It draws us closer to Him, deepening our understanding of His love and reinforcing our trust in His plan. The promise of blessings is not about accumulating wealth, success, or comfort. It is about experiencing the fullness of life that comes from walking in alignment with God's will. In the end, the promise of blessings is a testament to God's goodness and His desire for us to thrive. It is an invitation to trust, to grow, and to live with hope, knowing that the best is always yet to come. Every blessing, whether great or small, is a reflection of His unchanging love and a glimpse of the abundant life He has prepared for us. The immediacy of divine action is a profound concept that speaks to the boundless power and presence of God in our lives. It reflects the truth that when God chooses to move, His actions are swift, precise, and often beyond human comprehension. Unlike human intervention, which can be delayed by limitations, uncertainty, or inefficiency, divine action operates on a plane of absolute authority and intentionality. It is a reminder that God is not bound by time, space, or circumstance, and that His ability to transform situations can occur in an instant. In moments of waiting or struggle, it is easy to feel as though divine action is far away, delayed, or even absent. Yet Scripture and personal experience reveal time and again that God moves with purpose, and when the appointed time comes, His intervention is immediate and undeniable. The suddenness of God's action often takes us by surprise, not because He has been absent, but because His timing is perfect and aligns with a greater plan that we may not fully understand. God's immediacy is often seen in pivotal moments throughout history, where His intervention changes the course of events in extraordinary ways. Consider the parting of the Red Sea, a moment of despair transformed into one of deliverance. In an instant, God provided a way where there was no way, demonstrating that His power is not constrained by natural laws or human limitations. Similarly, the healing miracles of Jesus often occurred immediately, with the sick, blind, or paralyzed being restored in a single encounter. These moments of divine action remind us that no situation is too dire or too far gone for God to intervene. One of the most powerful aspects of divine action is its ability to bring transformation not only to circumstances but also to hearts and minds. A single moment in God's presence can change a person's outlook, renew their strength, and ignite a hope that seemed lost. This immediacy reflects the closeness of God to His creation. He is not distant or disengaged, but intimately involved in the details of our lives. His actions are not delayed by bureaucracy or doubt. They are driven by love and fueled by His unchanging nature. The immediacy of divine action is not limited to grand or miraculous events. It is present in the quiet moments of life when a prayer is answered, peace is restored, or clarity is given. Sometimes divine action is as subtle as a gentle nudge in the right direction or a sudden sense of reassurance in a moment of anxiety. These instances remind us that God's intervention does not always come with thunderous signs, but is often woven into the fabric of everyday life. His presence is constant, and His ability to act is never diminished. Faith plays a crucial role in experiencing the immediacy of divine action. When we trust in God's power and timing, we position ourselves to recognize and receive His intervention. Faith is not about demanding results on our timeline, but about believing that God is always at work, even when we cannot see it. This trust allows us to remain open to the possibility of sudden breakthroughs, knowing that God's ability to act is not limited by our expectations. The immediacy of divine action also teaches us about the dynamic relationship between God's sovereignty and human readiness. Often, God's swift intervention is preceded by a season of preparation. He may be aligning circumstances, refining our character, or teaching us valuable lessons. When the moment comes, His action is immediate, but it often follows a process of growth that has made us ready to receive it. This interplay between waiting and immediacy underscores the importance of patience and trust in the divine process. It is also important to recognize that the immediacy of God's action is not always visible to us in the way we expect. Sometimes His work is happening beneath the surface, setting the stage for future breakthroughs. What may feel like a delay is often God's way of ensuring that when He moves, it will be in a way that leaves no room for doubt about His power and glory. His actions are always timely, even when they do not align with our perception of urgency. The immediacy of divine action is a profound reminder of God's sovereignty. It assures us that no matter how complex or impossible a situation may seem, He has the power to change it in an instant. This truth is both humbling and comforting as it shifts the focus from our limitations to His infinite capabilities. It calls us to live with expectancy, knowing that at any moment God can intervene and turn things around. Ultimately, the immediacy of divine action is a reflection of God's love for His creation. His willingness to step into our lives, whether through grand miracles or quiet moments of peace, shows how deeply He cares for us. It is a call to trust Him fully, to remain steadfast in faith, and to live in anticipation of His transformative power. God's action may come when we least expect it, but it is always perfectly timed, bringing with it the assurance that He is in control and that His plans for us are good. Gratitude and readiness are two intertwined principles that prepare us to receive and fully experience the blessings and opportunities that life has to offer. Together, they form a posture of the heart and mind that aligns us with the flow of divine grace and enables us to embrace life's gifts with open hands and open hearts. While gratitude grounds us in appreciation for the present, readiness propels us toward the future with expectation and preparation. These principles work in harmony to create a life marked by purpose, joy, and alignment with a higher calling. Gratitude is more than a fleeting emotion or polite acknowledgement. It is a way of life, a lens through which we view the world. It transforms our perspective, allowing us to see abundance where others might see lack, and opportunities where others might see obstacles. Gratitude shifts the focus from what we don't have to what we do, fostering contentment and a deep sense of peace. This attitude is not contingent on circumstances, but is cultivated through intentional reflection on the goodness present in every situation, even amidst challenges. To live with gratitude is to recognize that every moment, every breath, and every experience is a gift. It is an acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of all things and the hand of the divine in every aspect of life. Gratitude opens the heart to receive more because it affirms that what we already have is enough. It is not passive complacency, but an active celebration of the present while holding space for the possibilities of the future. Gratitude creates an environment where blessings can flourish, as a grateful heart is fertile ground for growth and transformation. Readiness, on the other hand, is the active state of being prepared to embrace what lies ahead. It is an attitude of expectation, a belief that good things are on the horizon, coupled with intentional action to be prepared when they arrive. Readiness is not merely waiting, it is proactive anticipation. It involves aligning one's thoughts, habits, and actions with the belief that opportunities and blessings are not only possible but imminent. This state of readiness reflects faith in the unseen and trust in the unfolding of a divine plan. While gratitude roots us in the present, readiness ensures that we are prepared for the future. These principles are not at odds, they are complementary. Gratitude without readiness can lead to stagnation, while readiness without gratitude can lead to restlessness. Together, they create a balanced approach to life, one that appreciates the present while eagerly anticipating the future. This balance is essential for living a life of fulfillment and purpose. The practice of gratitude prepares the heart for readiness by fostering a sense of trust and assurance. When we are grateful, we affirm that life is good, that we are cared for, and that more good is on the way. This affirmation creates a foundation of faith that makes readiness possible. A grateful heart is more likely to believe in the possibility of future blessings because it has already experienced and acknowledged the goodness of past and present moments. Readiness, in turn, enhances gratitude by keeping us engaged with the present and future simultaneously. It encourages us to see the value in preparation and the importance of being open to what life has to offer. Readiness is an act of faith that demonstrates our belief in the worthiness of our goals and the reliability of the divine promises. It is the act of preparing the soil before the rain, knowing that the seeds we have planted will grow in due time. Gratitude and readiness also shape the way we respond to challenges. Gratitude helps us find meaning and lessons in adversity, turning setbacks into stepping stones. It keeps us grounded and resilient, even in difficult times. Readiness, on the other hand, equips us to navigate those challenges with confidence and adaptability. It reminds us that every trial is an opportunity to grow stronger and more prepared for the blessings that lie ahead. Together, these principles foster a life of alignment and purpose. They remind us that we are active participants in the unfolding of our destiny. Gratitude anchors us in the awareness that we are blessed, while readiness motivates us to act in faith and prepare for even greater blessings. This dynamic interplay creates a sense of empowerment and peace, enabling us to approach life with confidence and joy. Moreover, gratitude and readiness extend beyond personal growth. They have a ripple effect on the world around us. A grateful and ready individual inspires others, radiating positivity and hope. Their attitude uplifts those they encounter, creating a culture of appreciation and proactive engagement. This impact reinforces the interconnectedness of all things, demonstrating how personal transformation can lead to collective betterment. Ultimately, gratitude and readiness are not just attitudes but lifestyles. They call us to live with intentionality, to recognize the beauty and potential in every moment, and to actively participate in the unfolding of a greater story. Together, they create a rhythm of life that is both peaceful and purposeful, one that celebrates the present while eagerly preparing for the future. They remind us that life is a gift, and it is our privilege to receive it with open hearts and open hands. Living in the overflow is a state of existence characterized by abundance, grace, and the fullness of life's blessings. It is not merely about material wealth or possessions, rather, it is a profound spiritual reality where every aspect of life, emotional, relational, and spiritual, operates from a place of fullness rather than lack. To live in the overflow is to experience life as an outpouring of divine provision, where needs are met, dreams are realized, and blessings spill over into the lives of others. At its core, living in the overflow begins with a mindset rooted in abundance. It requires a shift from a scarcity mentality, which focuses on what is lacking, to an abundance mentality, which recognizes the limitless resources of the divine. This perspective does not ignore challenges or limitations, but acknowledges that in partnership with God, there is always more than enough to meet every need. This shift is transformative, freeing us from fear and insecurity and opening our hearts to receive and share abundantly. Overflow is not an accident, it is the result of alignment with divine principles. When we align our thoughts, actions, and faith with God's will, we position ourselves to experience His fullness. This alignment often requires surrender, letting go of control, doubt, and fear, and trusting in the divine process. It also calls for a life of gratitude and stewardship, where we recognize that everything we have is a gift from God and are committed to using it wisely and generously. A key aspect of living in the overflow is understanding that it is not solely for personal benefit. Overflow is designed to be shared, to touch the lives of others, and to create ripples of blessing that extend far beyond ourselves. When our lives are overflowing with love, peace, joy, and resources, we are empowered to uplift those around us. Whether it is through acts of kindness, words of encouragement, or tangible support, living in the overflow transforms us into vessels of blessing, contributing to the well-being of our families, communities, and the world. The concept of overflow also speaks to the nature of God as a giver. He does not merely provide what is sufficient, He gives abundantly, exceeding our expectations and understanding. Scripture often depicts this divine generosity, from the overflowing cup in Psalm 23 to the miraculous feeding of the multitudes with baskets of leftovers. These images remind us that God's provision is not just adequate but abundant, demonstrating His desire for us to live fully and joyfully. Living in the overflow requires faith, not just a passive belief, but an active trust in God's ability to provide, guide, and sustain. Faith fuels the overflow by keeping us connected to the source of all abundance. It enables us to see beyond our current circumstances, to believe in possibilities that are not yet visible, and to step forward with confidence. Faith also helps us to persevere in seasons of waiting, trusting that the overflow is not only possible but inevitable when we remain aligned with God's purpose. Another essential component of living in the overflow is generosity. Overflow is sustained and multiplied when we give freely of what we have. This principle is counterintuitive to a world that often equates giving with loss, but in God's economy, giving leads to increase. As we pour out love, time, resources, and kindness, we create space for even greater blessings to flow into our lives. Generosity is both a reflection of the overflow and a means of sustaining it, keeping the cycle of abundance alive. Overflow is not limited to tangible blessings. It is also about the intangible riches of the heart and spirit. It is the peace that surpasses understanding, the joy that remains steadfast in trials, and the love that knows no bounds. These qualities are the true markers of a life lived in the overflow. They are not dependent on external circumstances, but are rooted in the deep well of God's presence within us. When we live in this overflow, our lives become a testament to the transformative power of faith and grace. Challenges and trials do not negate the overflow, but often serve as pathways to it. Adversity refines our character, strengthens our faith, and prepares us to handle the abundance that is to come. Living in the overflow does not mean a life free from difficulties, but a life where those difficulties are met with resilience, hope, and the assurance of divine provision. The journey through challenges often deepens our appreciation for the overflow, making it all the more meaningful when it arrives. Ultimately, living in the overflow is about embracing the fullness of life that God intends for us. It is an invitation to step into a higher reality where scarcity and fear are replaced by abundance and trust. It is a call to live with open hands and open hearts, ready to receive and share the blessings that flow freely from the divine source. This state of overflow is not a destination, but a way of life, a continual outpouring of grace, love, and provision that transforms us and those around us. To live in the overflow is to embody the truth that God's blessings are limitless, His love is boundless, and His provision is unfailing. It is to walk through life with the assurance that we are deeply cared for, abundantly blessed, and called to be a blessing to others. In this way, the overflow becomes not just a personal experience, but a powerful testament to the goodness and faithfulness of God.